Breaking news, the father of Maddie has spoken out and says that he is sure the suspect made a mistake at the scene that will lead to his capture. He said, quote, "From the very beginning, I've known that people don't get away with these types of things these days. There's too many things you can get caught up on, like DNA, videos everywhere. This isn't something that people get away with that goes unsolved." He said the day of his daughter's vigil that he spoke to investigators for over 3 hours. He expressed gratitude towards the investigators, but says he still has a ton of unanswered questions. He said, quote, "There were so many questions I figured would be answered and we're still waiting." He also stated that one of the lead investigators stays in contact with him regularly. I'll keep you guys updated if anything develops. What do you think? Drop in the comments.
Has been looking into the background of the suspect, this man, 28-year-old Bryan Christopher Kohberger. Evan joins us live from Washington, D.C. with these new details. So, Evan, what all have you been able to uncover?
Well, Nicole, we're starting to get a better picture of Bryan Kohberger through online and other records, but also from someone who says that he knew Kohberger, our affiliate in Pennsylvania, speaking with a man who says that some years ago he ran with Kohberger on a regular basis. Listen to his reaction to the news that Kohberger was arrested and charged for these murders in Moscow, Idaho.
I used to go on night runs with him because I didn't want to go running at night by myself. So I would text him "Hey, you want to go for a run?" We'd go for 6-7 mile runs at night. So when I saw who it was, I was just in complete shock. I'm still kind of shaking knowing about that. It's just unreal to think somebody could actually do that to somebody. It's absolutely mind-boggling. My adrenaline's still kind of running after finding the information out. So just I feel for the families, and I'm just happy justice can be served now. So.
And we have also learned that Kohberger studied criminal justice at an advanced level, having gotten a master's from DeSales University in Pennsylvania in 2022, according to the school. There, he appears to once have posted on Reddit asking for volunteers for a research project where he was studying the criminal mind, and he wanted to know specific things about the emotional and psychological considerations for people who had been convicted of crimes, asking questions in a survey like, why did you choose that victim? What was the first move that you made? How did you leave the scene? So very eerie, knowing he is now accused of going through all those thoughts, having committed 4 murders, according to police. Now, he is currently a PhD candidate in criminal justice at Washington State University in Pullman, which is very close to Moscow, Idaho. A friend telling News Nation that he went to Pleasant Valley High School in the area near the Poconos. This is near that scene where he was arrested this morning. A news article from the local paper and school district documents tell us that he later worked there as a security guard. So a strange background for someone to now be accused of such gruesome crimes. Now, we also were able to confirm through county records out in Idaho that someone of the same name, same age, so it appears to be this suspect Kohberger, had been stopped on a seatbelt violation in August. So if these charges against him are true, that means that he would have at least been in the Moscow, Idaho area at least twice. Nicole?
And Evan, you confirmed that he did receive a master's from DeSales University there in Pennsylvania. That's also where he received his bachelor's degree as well, 2 years prior.
Yeah, so a bachelor's degree in 2020, graduating in 2020 in psychology. Then he went on to study criminal justice criminology for a master's, according to the program for the commencement in May 2022. The school telling us in a statement that he graduated in June 2022, but we were able to find that document as well. And then we know he was continuing his studies in Washington State, really just across the Idaho state line as a PhD candidate in that same subject, criminology and criminal justice.
Yeah, criminology, criminal justice, and a bachelor's degree in psychology. All very interesting tidbits there. All right, Evan Lambert live for us in D.C. Thank you.
Breaking news, the family of Kaylee has spoken out and says that they do not know the suspect but are seeing connections. They said they do not know the suspect, but they are seeing connections between the two that they are not ready to discuss yet. They went on to say they are, quote, happy, relieved, and thankful that there has been an arrest. Furthermore, in the late evening hours, investigators could be seen removing boxes from the suspect's home as well as a computer. I'll keep you guys updated. What do you think? Drop in the comments.
On a PhD in criminal justice. Yet he drove the getaway car all the way and parked it outside of mommy's house? Are you kidding me? Another thing we know about this guy, he has been described as obsessively vegan, to the point that he made his parents get rid of their pots and pans. Oh no, the bake process in the dishwasher wasn't enough. They had to buy new pans that had never touched meat. What does that tell me? He is obsessive. He is fastidious. He's about 6 feet tall. He's socially awkward. He planned this whole thing out. Did you notice the charges? He didn't go in to steal. He didn't go in to rape anybody. He went into that home with the intent to kill. How long had he been watching these girls? And as we speak, Jason, they are tearing his Pullman apartment up.
His point.
Yes, it is. From the get-go, we said a male between 25 and 38 to 40, a white male, because people normally within their own race, single, which she is. As a matter of fact, there's no indicia of a girlfriend, an ex, a fiance, even a high school girlfriend hasn't been dug up yet. So is this guy an incel? What was his motivation? And let me remind everybody, the state doesn't even have to prove motivation. But I can tell you, take a look at this guy. Would it surprise you to see him, that face staring in your bathroom window? Because it would not surprise me. And this is a death penalty state. 4 bodies equals the death penalty.
Well, I hope that the parents have some degree of closure and something in their heart and their family members that they get some degree of closure.
Sir. There's no such thing as closure. This guy will probably end up with a life sentence unless a jury comes to their senses and gives him the death penalty. These families, and I know as being a victim of violent crime, you get a life sentence for the rest of your life, wondering what your loved one went through at the time of their death. It will never be over for them. There is no closure for these families.
No, it's a good point. I bet. Do you believe that there is or is not somebody else out there? The police chief was asked a direct question. He didn't exactly give a totally 100% conclusive answer to that.
You're so right, Jason. He totally dodged it. Forensically, it appears that there was only one type of weapon used. So what am I supposed to think? They handed the knife off to each other? No. But could someone have been a lookout? Did someone help plan it? Possibly. Possibly. But in my mind, highly doubtful.
No murder weapon at this point. What's your take on that?
I think he got rid of the weapon. I think he studied long enough, getting his master's and soon his PhD in criminology, to know to get rid of the murder weapon. Hello? But still, I am confounded by the fact that he kept the car. Maybe he couldn't explain that away to mommy and daddy. And that car, as you heard a few minutes ago, is going to be a treasure trove. Look, it's practically impossible to clean blood out of a car. You can't get rid of DNA with bleach. You've got to use something like muriatic acid, such as Black Swan. He didn't do that. I guarantee you they're going to find something, some trace in that car, be it the front, the steering wheel, the ignition, the hatchback. There will be something in that car.
Yeah, it was December 7th that they put out that picture at 3:45 in the morning. That car's going by, but it obviously played a huge role in the evidence in trying to track this person down.
It really did. We long said, find the car. Our hopes were raised when a car similar to this was found in Oregon with a homeless person sleeping in it. That was not the car. This is the car. Now, we understand that they have matched him up to DNA at the crime scene. It can't just be any DNA, because that was a real party house. And is there anything wrong with that, having a good time? But DNA at critical locations, such as in both the bedrooms, on all the bodies or more than one body, possibly on the doorknob? Did he touch the doorknob of the downstairs girls that lived that night? It's not just DNA at the scene. It's DNA at critical locations in that scene that will now match up to him. Where did they get the matchup? Maybe like you heard earlier, genealogical DNA, or maybe they got his DNA from this 4-day stakeout we know that the cops have done. Did they see him throw out a pizza or a McDonald's coffee cup? We don't know, but they were watching him for a reason.
Me gusta cuando bailas así. Cuando vengas, calla. Cuando vengas, no me avises. Cuando oí tu voz, supe que había encontrado el amor de mi corazón.
Percent certain this is your guy?
I am certain this is our guy.
No doubts?
No doubts.
You've been quite emotional about this case. Do you still feel that same raw emotion? Do you feel like you're really fighting this for these young people?
I think we always feel the emotion. I am that way because I care, and I care a lot.
What was it about the case that required counseling?
But I think there's a lot of things. You know, it was 4 people murdered with the use of a knife. There's things that you don't forget when you go on any of these calls.
Okay, we're gonna wrap now and tell me what now.